Well, it's nice to see you all here tonight. Tommy was a little 8-year-old, came into my office many, many years ago. It was February 14th. I used to think, that was the beginning of my practice, was on February 14th. I used to think of my practice as the practice with a heart. So anyway, Tommy looks at me and about midway through the session and he says, "Are you a real doctor? You don't seem like the doctor who sent me here." And I said, "Well, Tommy, the difference is he has different letters after his name. He's got an MD, which means he's a medical doctor. He gives you medicine. But I have a Ph.D., which means I'm a people's happiness doctor. So I try to help you figure out what's making you unhappy and how to get happy again." So Tommy liked this, and that became my little spiel for children when they came in sometimes. And so I'd like you to think of me tonight as your personal happiness doctor. Now, one of the things that I want to convey to you, we're going to cover a lot of material. I want to give you some idea of the background of how this all got generated. And I want to give you sort of an idea also of just how you can really do two things with stress. You can master it, and that's why it's called stress effectiveness training. How to be effective in the face of stress, but also how to effectively use stress to really heal your life and your relationships. I had occasion, I was contacted, you saw it on some of the TV spots, right after 9/11. I was on MSNBC within days talking about how we could talk to our children. And each of the appearances, that and then on a Janla Van Sant show, which is no longer on. And then I was contacted by Rita Foley. And in each of the appearances, the essence of what I had to say was that we need to learn to express, really train ourselves to express rather than repress or aggress our stress. And that usually is what tends to happen. From childhood on, we learn to tense our bodies when we're feeling something that we know is going to get punished if we express it. We learn to hold our breath. So one of the things I would advocate is we go through things tonight, and I suggest you try some of the exercises, is to make sure you breathe, breathe, breathe. That's the very first thing that's very important to do. Just think of it this way. As one person was saying, they were watching a lot of Oprah, and they said, "She's talking about the inner self, the spirit, and how do you get in touch with that?" And my answer was, your spirit, the piece of your spirit is just a breath away. And in fact, in the ancient etymology of the words with spirit, you have inspiration, inhalation, inspiration. So just keep that in mind, that what we're going to be working on is really how to access that calm, caring, connecting, and continuous consciousness which resides in us all. It doesn't have to be created, it has to be accessed. So one of the things, when Rita Foley called me, she said, "What do we do about such a massive terror attack? What do we do about the rage and the stress that we feel?" Now, in the meantime, the producer told me I had about 90 seconds to come up with something useful. It actually turned out to be 60 seconds. But anyway, the essence of it was that I really suggested that everybody recognize that we don't heal what we don't feel, especially when you're talking about emotions. And what I'm going to present to you in a nutshell is really a condensation of about 30 years of my study, my clinical work, my own 2 psychoanalyses that I went through to become a better therapist,